Welcome to today's Wednesday webinar. We're going to talk about Moving Day, a home improvement guide to addressing ISU Canvas migration hiccups. I'm Lisa Kidder on the ITRC, and with me today is Randall and Michael Spall. Today we're going to look at where to find your list of issues, the announcements, which will always show up as an issue on your list, where to find your files in Canvas, addressing quiz settings and question banks, checking your gradebook, and relinking external tools. So first up, where to find the list of issues that Canvas has already identified for you. So when you are in your course over on the top right, there is a button that says Import Existing Content. And when you click on that, you will be taken to the place where you can import new, but it will also show you your previous imports. And here you can see the first Moodle importer, there were 13 issues. When I click on the 13 issues, it will list all of those issues there. You can copy and paste that list and it will link, the links will come over, or you can always come back into your course and check this. If you have multiple imports and multiple issues, there will be an issues next to each of the import and you can address those and work through them. So next up, Michael's going to talk about announcements.
So with every course that you import from Moodle, you'll get this one issue about the announcements, because in Moodle, announcements and the rest of your forums are all together. In Canvas, they're called discussions, and the announcements is distinct from discussions. So that's what this warning is about, just to let you know you need to use the Canvas announcements for announcements. And then here are some other common import issues. One is about external tools, and Ryan will be talking about those a little later. But essentially, every external tool will have to be redone because they're specific from one server to the next. And then another common import error that you might see is about module items. And so these will be things that you'll have to look at our guide about finding replacements or alternatives for Canvas.
With your list of issues, one of the things that you will want to know is to where to find your files. So in this video, you can see over in the navigation, there is a section called Files. By default, this is hidden for the students because this is just an alphabetical, ugly list of all of your files. It says the file size. Here you can see there are a couple of videos in here that are taking up a lot of space and probably should be moved over to Panopto. On this page, you can also scroll down to the very bottom and you can see how much space your files are taking up. Again, there are some file limitations, so you want to pay attention. In your modules, you can recognize a file because it will have a paperclip. This file right here is a PDF and it's been added in the module at this specific point, so the students know in the process of their course to go to this specific file. If you use auto-linking in Moodle ISU, you will have this following issue. It will show up as missing links found in imported content. So auto-linking is where Moodle would recognize a title of an activity or a file and automatically link it to direct the students to the right place. Canvas doesn't know where to find all of those files. So when you see this list, you can click on it and it will take you directly to, in this case, a discussion where those links are, and you can check the links to see what's happening. That's a PDF file, so it downloaded. That wasn't the broken link. Down here, here is this link, and you get a confirmation. This is a broken link. And I'm going to check the second one right next to it because there was a second one. And I have a hint that both of these are broken, and they are. So looking at the context of these, I can make a decision on what I want to do with them. I'm going to scroll up, click on the three dots, and edit this discussion topic. And I'm going to scroll down, and the decision I've made is for the syllabus and course overview, I'm just going to remove that link. And for the form grading, I'm going to open up link options, and here I can actually put a link directly to that form grading guide. And then I can save changes and those links will be updated. Some issues that will not show up on your issues list, but you will want to address, are quizzes and question banks. The quiz settings will not come over correctly because they have different fields and different titles in Moodle and in Canvas. So you will need to review the settings for all of your quizzes to make sure that they are behaving the way you want them to behave, with open and close dates, whether they're practiced, graded, all of those things. You might find that your questions are duplicated. We found this too. Sometimes when you import from Moodle, you will end up with double categories. We're not quite sure why this happens, but the solution to this is we recommend 2 backups. One with just your quizzes and your question bank, and then one with all the other content. And we have found less problems with duplicated question banks. So if you have a large question bank, you may want to just do the 2 backups and avoid having to delete that second set of categories. Some of your questions may be missing. If you have randomly pulled questions, they will not import. You will need to switch your Moodle ISU quiz to pull all of the questions into the quiz before you import it into Canvas. Once in Canvas, you can then set up the random questions using a question group. You might have some unique question types that don't show up in Canvas. There's a number of different ways to address the assessments and the question types that you would like to have in your course. We did a previous Wednesday webinar about Canvas assessments that talk more about this, so we invite you to check this out. Next up, Michael is going to talk about the gradebook.
Pretty much every time you're going to want to check your gradebook in Canvas to make sure things are organized correctly and the grades are being calculated correctly. Canvas has essentially 2 types of gradebook. The one is every item in your course is essentially all in one group, and the scores that students earned are points earned divided by points possible. The other type of gradebook in Canvas has 1 layer of assignment groups or categories, and within those assignment groups or categories, things are points earned out of points possible, and then you take the weights of those assignment group weights, and that's how the score is calculated. The difference between Canvas and Moodle is the assignment groups are not created in the gradebook, but in the assignments area of Canvas. And that's also where the weights are assigned. And you have to make sure that the assignment group weights add to 100. And if you don't, if the assignment weights are too low, no student will ever be able to get a high enough grade. And if they're too high, everyone is getting tons of extra credit. And some other things to check in your gradebook is if you use drop the lowest, it only works in Canvas if the max points in the group are all the same. And then we recommend that you double check your extra credit. And again, if you have problems in your gradebook that are confusing to you, there is documentation, and we will provide other things, and you can always schedule a meeting.
Great. So I'll talk about external tools. And when we talk about external tools, we mean things like Turnitin or Zoom, things that aren't strictly part of Canvas, but are things that you access and provide to students through Canvas. So some examples of these that you might be familiar with are things like Zoom or Panopto, Turnitin. Those are all ones that we are using frequently in Moodle at the moment. Other ones that we'll be adding or are available at the moment, but not as well known, are Atomic, which is just in Canvas, and then also our proctoring solutions. So Proctor Free, and another one, Measure Learning, also known as ProctorU. So these are the things that we mean when we say external tools or the other sort of applications. You might also have things like publisher platforms that are provided outside of ISU, but that you and the students will access through Canvas. So how do you actually connect these? In Moodle, you're probably familiar with the image on the left. Moodle really likes in its user interface to have differentiating colors and icons, different colors. Canvas tends to have fewer differentiation devices, so they have most things under menus. And I'll show you in a video exactly the distinction and the process of finding where you can add these things. But you'll want to look for in the menu in Canvas for the words external tool. So in this video, I'll show you both the typical way to do it, and there's at least one exception that you can anticipate, which is turn it in. So for most things, we'll go to the three dot icons, sort of a vertical ellipses, or if you're hungry, it might look like a kebab. You go to edit assignment, then to more options, and then scrolling down, you'll see submission type. And you can click on that menu and go down to external tool. Most you'll find here under the configure external tool. Turn it in, you will not find on this list though. And so for that particular tool, you'll instead, in the left-hand menu, go to assignments, and then go to the higher three dots menu, and there you'll be able to find turn it in. The first time you use it, you'll need to agree to the end user license agreement. But then after that, it'll be the same way that you have been doing this in Moodle. You'll just have to access turn it in slightly differently, but both turn it in and most of the other tools you'll be able to access through that three dots menu. I will go ahead and let you know ways for reaching out when you want to learn more. We have a large library of Tiger Tracks articles. These are instructions and guides that we have written that help you do things with Canvas or Moodle. We have an extensive library of recordings of Wednesday webinars just like this one. So you're always welcome to watch those even when we're closed over the weekend, whenever you're working on your courses. Throughout the semester, we've been having Wednesday webinars at the exact time every week. And if you'd like to see the schedule of the rest of spring, you can click on this final slide, the final link in this slide, which will take you to schedule where you can register for these. You can always meet with us. itrc@isu.edu is the best email to use for any of us because it will go to all of us. So if one of us is currently working with a faculty member and unable to answer the phone, instead this will go to all of us so we can all respond as quickly as possible. So definitely use itrc@isu.edu when you're trying to email us. Calling us on the phone, you can always do 208-282-5880 is our number. People in Pocatello can come to the O'Boiler Library and meet us down in the basement in room B17. And you can always schedule an appointment with us through our on-demand appointments platform. And these can be held via Zoom, over the phone, or in person. And finally, for future Wednesday webinars, please keep your eyes out for our announcements about the details and the contents of these. We announce in Idaho State Today each week. And finally, if you haven't yet bookmarked the ISU Canvas Transition website, we recommend that you do because that's where we will add all of our announcements, and we also add recordings and other up-to-date bits of information about the Canvas transition. So thank you all for joining us today, and we look forward to working with you.